When I did the old school showdown with the 7850 versus the 660 Ti, a lot of people wanted to see me use that computer in a build. And today I've tallied up the costs and we've got a $372 whatever. Welcome back to Tech Yes City. This is Brian coming to you guys today with a used build that is going to be sort of like a temporary makeshift PC while I'm transferring the main rig from Japan to Australia. Big news. Though for what it's worth, this will be kind of like the last PC that I build from Japan, unfortunately. Though I will try and get in another vlog when I use this makeshift PC. So don't worry, I will do some more hunting for you guys. But in the meantime, today I'm going to be showcasing a build where I picked up a very cheap motherboard for $20. Not only that, I also got a 2500K for a pretty good price, and it all works out and it makes one really decent build besides a few little things that I'll nitpick. But anyway, with that being said, let's get on with the parts and the prices, and then we'll get on to the build and then the benchmarks. Alright, so it's that time to see if it boots, though. I'm kind of going to be honest with you guys. It should definitely boot because I had it just pre-overclocked before I tore it down and did the build video for you. Alright, there we go. Let's get on with the video games. So there we have it. The benchmarks do all the talking for you guys, and you can see that this build at 1080p on high or max settings, it kind of struggled, and for $372, it certainly doesn't represent the best value for money that I've built to date. When we contrast this build to say something like the Overwatch PC, which had the 7970 and the E5640 in it, this thing kind of pales in comparison to that. That was like the best value for money I've built to date. It was just king of the hill, max, 1080p settings, absolutely fine. This thing is more or less a 1080p medium setting PC, though it's not the CPU that's at fault here. That 2500K can certainly handle a 660 Ti, and it could certainly handle something like a 7970 as well. I think the fault here is maybe the 660 Ti is just not strong enough to play those games at 1080p on max or high settings, the 2016 titles. The one thing that did impress me about this build was when I started playing Dota 2 with Vulcan on this 660 Ti 2500K combo. It was really snappy, the frame rates were really high at 1080p on pretty much ultra max settings at 1080p, and also the input lag was just extremely low. So if you're a competitive gamer on Dota 2, something like this $370 gaming PC will serve you really well if you want to get into high competitive play and you're on a budget. Then when we move on to some other things with this build, like the temps, they were really good. I mean, for 4.6 gigahertz, I was really happy with the overclock on this 2500K, especially for a $20 cooler and also a $20 motherboard. Not to mention the CPU was second-hand, and it got up to 4.6 gigahertz. So I was really happy with the overclocks, and also the motherboard only had a single 4-pin on there. So I guess that 115 watt limit wasn't a problem with the 4-core CPUs. Also, another thing that I'll talk about before I go is that the costs, I could have brought them down a little bit, maybe if I got a cheaper hard drive, or in this case I didn't get an SSD and got maybe a $10 hard drive and also maybe a $5 case. I could have brought this build under $300, which at that price point I think it would have been kick-ass value for money. Though since I am using this build sort of to edit some 1080p footage in the future, I will kind of need that SSD, and I will need it to be a bit more snappier than it usually is. And also the case, I'm kind of going to ship that back, and so I want a lightweight case for when I ship this thing eventually back to Australia. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video today, then be sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments about today's $372 PC, then be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll catch you in the next tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye. Anyway, that's about it for me today. So when I did part 1 of my old school showdown, yeah, that would be good. There's going to be some builds coming from down under, baby.